Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect, Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have the Mana Drain Open, number 19. This was May 12th, 2018. 110 Vintage players came out to really just have a good time playing Vintage and play for some awesome prizes. Justin in the captain seat here. He has earned that pirate hat. He will keep it until somebody beats him. And Gataxian Probe showing Greg to be on a workshop deck. See exactly what type as this game unfolds. Underground Sea into Preordain. Those are going to go on the bottom. Mox Ruby into Sensei's Divining Top. So top a really strong card versus workshop style decks. Their ability to continue to filter and find the best cards when not taxed. For example, like cards like that Lodestone Golem is very strong. Oh, but Revoker is going to shut it down. That is brutal. Question there is whether or not to tap to draw or leave it in play. A little bit of a decision, and it looks like it's just going to be left there. Oh, and Mox Ruby was the call. Very interesting. So leaving him with Sensei's top. Fetchland goes very well with Sensei's top. Looks like there was a little discussion about using Ruby, perhaps. But Ruby was chosen, even though Greg has one. Turned his upside down to remember not to attempt to use it. Sorcerer's Spyglass. That reveals a Brainstorm and a very threatening card, a Monastery Mentor. That card can do a lot to stabilize versus shops. They don't have a ton of ways of removing it. Walking Ballista is definitely the prime suspect there. Looks like Justin able to jam a Monastery Mentor here. And if he can get that the Sorcerer Spyglass off the board, that would really make things abusive with that Sensei's top. Of course, that's going to be a bit harder to remove than the Revoker would be. And a Smokestack. So we've got ourselves a game. Haven't seen Smokestack in quite some time. Justin with the Sensei's top and the Monastery Mentor. I feel like he's likely favored in this situation. All of his permanents going to create additional permanents. I should say all of his non-creature, non-land cards are going to create additional permanents. So cards like Mox Jet, very powerful, producing a 1/1 and an additional mana source. So this Smokestack going to be very tricky if he does start ramping it up. Justin likely to be able to stay outside of the range of it. Smokestack ramping up. Not tell what that card is. Looks like something from Homelands. Comments if you can determine that mystery card. Through like a Treasure Cruise, perhaps. Brainstorm, not sure. It looks like he drew 3 cards there. Oh, it's a proxy, so it's probably Ancestral. That does make sense. Proxies do make this difficult. Would love to see better proxy, higher proxy standards. Fear resistance on the other side, making this Vampiric Tutor cost 2. But Vampiric from this game state, gotta think there's a lot of things that may just straight up end the game. Urkel's Recall may just be one of them. Tapping to draw with Sensei's Top. And I gotta wonder if tapping to draw during the upkeep would have created lethal. Looks like it was just a little bit off from lethal damage there. Sensei's Top going into hand could have potentially allowed for recasting. Justin has any more mana. But Greg's still alive here for his draw step, and he will scoop it up. No answer to the huge swarm of monks that Justin was able to create there. Justin earning the check mark in game 1. The workshops are definitely prepared for in Vintage. Everybody knows is amongst the best deck, if not just clearly the best deck in the format. Generally be prepared, even though Greg has gone a little bit off the beaten path here, bringing back some oldies but goodies. You can see Crucible on the bottom of his deck. Looks like the Judge promo version of that. Also having Smokestack. See if he's got Tangle Wire in there. I think that might be a Semblance Anvil. Sideboard. Greg going pretty deep. That is one of the really fun things about Vintage, is the ability to play with really any of the cards that you love. Power level of the format so very high. Backbone of your deck. Very often able to carry some unusual card choices to victory. Rayu from Justin. Very interesting quasi-lock component. It does give a significant advantage in the mirror match. Makes countering spells very difficult in Vintage now. In the past, would not have been as strong with 4 brainstorms floating around, where you'd be able to potentially brainstorm response to their spell and still Force of Will. The instants that are left in these blue decks, for the most part, are very, very high value. Cards like Ancestral or Dig Through Time. Most of the hand tripping at this point. Sorcery Speed coming the way of Preordain. Of course, Ponder still getting the nod. Rayu, a very interesting card choice. That up myself in the past. I believe Rich Shea popularized that tech for a short while, but it has not been seen in quite some time. So Greg on the play. Workshops always has potential for extremely explosive starts. See their Sorcerer's Spyglass. Looks like from the way he was trying to show that to the camera, he may be throwing that back. Those what could have been hands. Sorcerer's Spyglass, a very interesting addition to Vintage. On the surface, it doesn't seem that much better than Pithing Needle. But getting that free look is not quite free. I mean, you're willing to pay the mana for it. Justin keeping. And it looks like Greg going all the way down to 5 here. Lodestone Golem, a Soul Ring. He may have some type of opening here if he's got enough fast mana. Sapphire, Soul Ring, Wasteland, Expedition Map. See if he's got anything spicy that he can get with that. Looks like a Gataxian Probe reveals that Lodestone Golem. May see Expedition Map being cracked end of turn off of that Soul Ring. Find out what type of spicy tech Greg has here. Or maybe not. It looks like Justin could be off to the races already. Mox Opal, Soul Ring, Merchant Scroll. That is a lot of fast mana. Not catch what he grabbed with that Merchant Scroll, but I'm sure we'll find out very shortly. And Academy being tutored up by Greg. That's going to tap for 2 mana. So a little worse than a Workshop in the short term here. But in the long term, promises to be a whole lot of mana. And there's Revoker coming down. Looks like that white proxy may be a Library of Alexandria. Promptly gets wastelanded. Basic Island into Ancestral. And here's the smokestack. So Greg pretty firmly ahead on board. I believe Mox Opal was the card named for Revoker, but we'll see here. And that might be a Time Walk into a Hercule's Recall. We'll see. It was, in fact, that. We get an Untapped step. And if this is a paradoxical outcome, maybe ending right now. There it is. And Greg has seen enough. Justin continues to be the captain here.
That's all for this one. If you enjoyed the video, please help grow the channel by subscribing. You'll be notified when we upload new videos like Fast Effect, Double Speed Magic with Commentary, or Untapped, our raw tournament gameplay. Thanks for watching.